Continuing on with your integrated project, this week you're going to be creating a newsletter. Before we get on with the work today, let's have a look at our knowledge recall, and you need to answer these 4 questions. You need to say what is a set of instructions needed to complete, a step-by-step series of instructions needed to complete a complex software task is. So explain what that one is. What is a slide master? What is a digital presentation? And you need to list 3 common features of presentation software. So you can pause the video and answer those 4 questions. So in today's lesson, we're going to understand what a newsletter is, why we use newsletters, and look to see what makes a good newsletter and what's not so good newsletter, and look to create a newsletter using Microsoft Publisher. So first of all, you need to write down very quickly what a newsletter is. So what's a newsletter, why are they used, and what will they have on them? So in your e-portfolios, you can answer these questions. What is a newsletter and why is it used? What does a newsletter have on them? And you should have come up with the answers similar to this. So newsletter is a printed electronic report containing news or information concerning the activities of a business or an organisation that is sent to its members, customers, employers or potential customers. And they're used for marketing, for publication, to build relationships with customers, and it's that regular communication, so it's giving information to the regular customers. So all the information has to be of high value. So they've all got appropriate information in them. In your newsletter, you'll need your company name, the address, the telephone number, email address, all your contact details, including the company website. The logo should be prominent throughout the newsletter, so it's clearly obvious who the newsletter is for. And it has to have a style to it, a company house style. So it needs to have that consistent look throughout every page. So using the same color scheme, same fonts, same style and layout. And if you have a slogan or other information, that can go in your newsletter as well. So we've got examples of 3 newsletters here. You can have a quick look at those and make a decision as to which you prefer and why, what's good about them, what's bad about them, and you might have your own views on those, thinking about colour scheme, thinking about the layout, thinking about the information, and whether they're easy to read. So looking at this newsletter that we have on the right here, you need to be able to write down 2 good features and 2 bad features for this newsletter. So have a look at it. It doesn't matter about the content, the newsletter is for a specific purpose, but what is good about it and what is bad about it. So again, you can pause the video and answer these questions, and then we'll have a look at what you have. So a couple of features here that are good or bad. Let's look at a couple of negatives first of all. For a front page, there's too much information. It's not grabbing people's attention. It's probably too wordy for a front page. And it can be quite hard to read. The writing is quite small for a front page. Some of the colour scheme, it's not a clear, consistent colour scheme, although the yellow and white works well together, and that's kind of representing the logo, which is good. But the brown bit at the top isn't the best choice of colour. It doesn't relate to the logo, and some people might find reading the black writing against the brown background a little bit difficult. Good features, the yellow block on the side stands out well. It sections off an area. The company logo is prominent and works well there. The fact that they've got an image that is to do with the story that's being written about is also useful there. So looking at this newsletter here, you need to be able to explain 2 bad features for this newsletter and 2 good features and add that to your e-portfolio. Again, you can pause the video and answer this page now. You're going to be designing the front page of your newsletter, and you can either do a very quick sketch on paper and add that evidence to your e-portfolio via a photograph, or you can do a wireframe on the computer where you can create boxes and just explain what's going in each box. You don't need to create the elements. All you need to do is, like on this diagram here, you've got arrows explaining what the information is going to be and what it's going to look like. So explain what it is, design it, not actually creating it. So you've got this example of how to create a sketch or a design for your front page. That's what you need to do. Then you're going to need to design the inside pages of your newsletter, so what a common theme is going to look like. And you'll also need to design the back page of your newsletter. So again, they can all be wireframes. You don't need the actual information in there. You're just explaining what it's going to look like. Color schemes, font that you're going to choose, style, all of that information needs to go in there. So in your e-portfolios, you need to have a design for your front page and your middle pages and your back page. And then once you've got your design, you can create your newsletter in Microsoft Publisher. So when you open up Publisher, you can just click on a blank A4 portrait. So you've got that information there, and you can add the pages in here just by right click, insert blank page. This will add your extra pages in. Right click, insert blank page, and insert blank page. So that's created your setup for the start of it. If I've just right clicked and clicked view 2-page spread, and then it looks more like a newsletter. So we've got our front page, our internal pages, and our back page, and that'll be a better way to work. So you've got that information. You can also go to your page design, and this way you could apply backgrounds, or you can use a master page like we did with our digital presentation. You can use a master page, edit the master page so that you have the same information on every single page. So if you're using a logo, you might want that in a consistent place throughout your newsletter. But again, all your styles are here and how you can change that. So you can add your information to your newsletter. So you are making a newsletter that will be sent to schools around Norfolk promoting the Computing Games for You company. You may wish to include information from the task you've done already. So that'll be things like your logo, that's going to be included in there. Information from your digital presentation might go into your newsletter. Just information you've already created. So you're going to include text and images, information on the company itself, and just information about the computer games that Games for You make. You might include price lists, promotional material might go in there as well. So we've already mentioned the logo, that wants to go in there, and you can find images on the internet to add to your newsletter. So think about formatting it. Don't use just the font that you're given, make font more appropriate, and just be careful with your grammar and spelling throughout your newsletter. Remember, this is a professional document. It needs to look professional throughout. So once you've done that, you can have a screen print of your newsletter in your e-portfolio. Same for a screen print of your middle pages and a screen print of your back page into your e-portfolio. If you need a few web pages to help you get some information, these pages here might be a link to some information and content that you can use. So remember to save your work throughout your e-portfolio and submit that to your teacher for them to check.